Hello, Rosemont High School students. This is Mr. Simney, school social worker here. And I just wanted to continue that conversation that Mrs. Hanson started with you regarding wellness and mental health during today's advisory. And as we go through the remaining portion of this presentation, I want to keep in mind that I have three goals for us today. And that first goal would be for us to be able to differentiate and tell the difference between stress and anxiety. And then secondly, develop some coping strategies and tools that you can use not only today, but across the lifespan to help you navigate anxiety and stress safely and efficiently. And then lastly, how to easily make an appointment with me if you feel it would be helpful for us to sit down and talk about your mental health at any time throughout the school year. As a school social worker here at Rosemont High School, my number one priority, my number one job is to support you in your mental, social, and emotional health. And I know that the times that we're living in right now, over the last 8-9 months, have been quite difficult and challenging for all of us. But even if we put that aside, my role still stands as being important in that we know that anxiety is expected at any time. It's normal. And anxiety, as much as it is unexpected, is definitely manageable. So it's so important that we learn to tell the difference between these two prongs and we can be best prepared. What I want to do now is shift over to this visual and talk a little bit about the differences. And I'll keep this simple just for a baseline understanding. But as you can see on the left in the pink column, that is descriptors attributed to stress, and the right-hand side is anxiety. And when I talk to students here at Rosemont High School about stress, I try to really help them understand that stress is caused by a reaction to something on the outside, external. That could be a test, could be a flat tire, it could be any one of millions of examples that have caused you and I stress over the lifespan. And typically, what I hear from students is that when stress presents itself, they have a sense of feeling overwhelmed or forgetfulness or inability to focus or concentrate. And when we try to track stress and we think about that over the continuum of that experience, we know that stress usually, the majority of the time, will resolve itself after that stressful event has passed. So whether it be that looming test or that flat tire, once the tire is fixed, once the test is taken, we can expect for things to go back to normal or as close to normal as possible. But on the other hand, when we're talking about anxiety, we're talking about something that is a reaction to an internal factor. And that could be something that trips us up to make us feel excessively worried or fearful, or have exaggerated emotional responses to things that normally maybe we would handle a little bit more gracefully or calmly. And, that could be irritability, it could be emotionality, tearfulness. But ultimately, when we think about the differences between these two, it's the timing. And in that bottom right-hand column there, I want you to visualize anxiety as something that still hangs around for a prolonged period of time, even though that event has passed and you would have expected things to go back to normal. What we find with anxiety, clinical anxiety, is that it's still clinging and it's still impacting and it's still influencing your quality of life dramatically. So those are the primary differences between the two, which I want you to keep in mind as we move forward in our discussion here during advisory. Now, whether you experience stress on a daily basis or intermittently, or if you've never had anxiety, or maybe you juggle anxiety symptoms daily, I want you to think about strategies that maybe would be helpful for you to use, not only in today's world as a high school student, but across the lifespan. And maybe you have some examples that come to mind already that you've used to help you with that. Some strategies that we offer students in our consultations here in the counseling department are quite straightforward and helpful. And some of these you may have heard already. And I'll just go through these quickly, and keep in mind at the end of advisory today, you'll be given a separate document email that will highlight all of this information for ease of use and reflection, so that you have this information. But we talk to students a lot about managing stress and anxiety through developing a consistent schedule. It is so important that you have a routine so that you're best prepared for the challenges of the day. That also includes sleep and wake. How you take care of your body last night greatly impacts what you can offer it tomorrow and in today. So we want to make sure that we are energized and we're balanced, because we know that stress is normal. And if we're prepared and best equipped, we know that we're going to be successful to navigate those hurdles. We also want you to think about staying connected socially with peers and activities to whatever degree we can currently in our current environment. We know that there's limitations and restrictions, but we know that that human connection is so valuable to offset anxiety and stress. And that includes physical exercise too. We want you to be active, but yet safe, so that you can find balance. Probably the most important thing that I've talked to many students about this year so far in regards to stress and anxiety is the fact that we need to give ourselves permission not to be able to control everything. We like control. It's healthy, usually. It gives us healthy power, confidence. But over the last 8-9 months, I think all of us, adults included, we've really learned a really direct lesson that we cannot control a lot of what we've had to deal with. And as a result, we can either stay stuck on that, or, as I've told students in our consultations here in my office, let's shift our thinking to focus on what can we control. We're never completely powerless. We always have control over something. And really, it's training our mind to go to where we can control and find those spaces so that we feel energy and productivity. Another strategy we've talked about down here is, trying to reflect on what are your triggers, what causes stress, anxiety. Maybe some of those things are preventable. And if we can identify or pinpoint that, maybe we can prevent that from happening time and time again, so that we can take better control over those variables. And lastly, whether you can do those other 4 or 5 things or not, we want you to always find confidence in communicating to a trusted adult, whether that be at home or here at school or somewhere else. Communicate and let that adult know what you're experiencing so that they can listen, they can help reflect and plan and strategize so that you can effectively manage that stress and that anxiety. Another tool I want to share with you, and once again, we'll provide the links to these resources, is Allina Health here in the Twin Cities area has been kind enough to develop a huge tool for all of us to use. It's called Change to Chill, and you can find many different resources and great information to help manage stress and mental health here. But one thing that I want you to strongly consider doing on your own time, which will take less than 5 minutes, is going to the link that I provide you with and start your quiz. And this is really meant to help you navigate what are the stress factors in your life and what healthy options do you have to offset those. And when you click on that link, it'll take you to this page and you can simply start your quiz. And it literally is about 4 questions, I believe. And this question is identify up to 4 things that stress you out. So, just randomly, it could be school, could be grades, could be homework. Add others if you want. How does this affect you physically? Some people report body aches, others report loss of appetite. Sometimes we may have trouble concentrating. Once again, there's no wrong answers. And what are some ways that you react to this stress? Some people say that they withdraw, others feel helpless, and others may say that they stop caring about things that are usually important to them. Then it asks you to identify one strategy that you think you can utilize no matter what the source of stress or anxiety is to help navigate those barriers. And, you can pick any of these. I'll just pick pet. And then also ask you to identify some other things that, could help you de-stress and de-escalate. Music is one thing for me. And then top priorities in life. Just randomly grades, health, work. Once again, you can put anything in. And then out of that will come your profile. And this is confidential. It has no identifying information to you because, once again, you haven't given your name. But then this gives you a profile that you can print or you can send to yourself. And it really captures all of your responses on the left-hand side. But on the right-hand side, you can click on any of these accommodations or recommendations, and they will walk you through specific coping strategies to combat the source of your stress or your anxiety so that you can feel like you have healthy power to navigate these challenges as they come up in your life. So I know that that's a lot of information for you, to digest at this point. And once again, you'll get that in electronic format to look at and review. But ultimately, as we talk about mental health and we talk about any struggle or needs that you may have, we don't want you to feel as if you have to come up with all the answers. That's why our counseling department and myself are here. That's why your faculty are always listening with open ears to help you as well. So know that this is not a task that you have to carry by yourself. We're here to help you through that. And part of that is just going through and reviewing with you how to access my calendar if you feel like it would be helpful for us to get together and talk about what's important to you. And this is the same format that Mrs. Hanson has shared with you earlier, but simply go to the RHS home page, go to families, go right to counseling. And scroll on down, all of our pictures there. You can go right down to schedule an appointment with me. And this is my Calendly page, just like all of us use. And from there, you can click right here, and then you'll see my calendar. And when you look at this, any area that is highlighted in blue is available. So, for example, next Monday, if you want to meet, you can click on the date. These are the times available. Select what works for you, confirm it, and you would simply go through, fill out these data fields, hit schedule events, and both you and I would receive calendar notifications and emails that has been secured. And then I can be best prepared to meet with you and help you with whatever is most important on your mind. So as we wrap up today's advisory, just a quick review. We want you to think of stress as being normal. It's typically healthy. It's unavoidable. It's part of our daily experience. And as long as we take that stress and rechannel it into positive outcomes, all is well. And when we think of anxiety, we're thinking more of those interfering symptoms, things that we can't shake, those things that will not pass on their own, and that we need to stop and think about what do I need to do here to be able to get back to my sense of normalness and the best version of yourself. We've given you some strategies as well to review and think about, both in print and online. But then maybe even most importantly, just know that every adult here at Rosemont High School is ready to support you, listen to you, and help you with anything that you may need help with, not only here at school, but at home or anywhere else. So in closing, thank you for your time and your attention today. Know that if you have any follow-up questions, please go right away and make appointments to follow up with me. And I look forward to seeing you hopefully in the near future in our halls. Take care.